Welcome! In the travel industry, your entire business is built on creating these seamless, almost magical experiences. But what happens when the biggest threat you're facing isn't a delayed flight or a bad review, but an invisible adversary who has already logged into your network? We're diving into a new class of threat that doesn't go after your firewalls, it goes after the very trust your business is built on. This line right here from the 2024 CrowdStrike Global Threat Report, it really just nails the new reality of cybersecurity. For an industry like yours, an industry built on this huge global web of partnerships and absolute customer trust, this isn't just some technical problem. No, this is a direct threat to your brand, your reputation, and ultimately your bottom line. Okay, so let's think about it. Your industry thrives on this incredibly complex, interconnected web, right? You've got partners, systems, and data all working together to create that travel magic. From the global distribution systems all the way down to local tour operators, every single connection is a link of trust. And, you guessed it, that very interconnectedness, that's now the primary target.
Today's adversaries, they're not the noisy vandals of the past. They are incredibly stealthy insiders. They aren't breaking down the door, they're walking right in the front entrance. How? By using stolen but completely valid keys. Legitimate credentials. They just blend right in with all the normal day-to-day activity. And that, right there, makes them almost invisible to traditional security.
So, how has the game really changed? To get our heads around this new threat, we need to look at three key numbers. These three numbers really define this new era of evasive adversaries and the, frankly, unbelievable speed at which they now innovate. 82%. That's the percentage of intrusions that were completely malware-free. Just let that sink in for a second. Attackers aren't really using viruses anymore. They're using the legitimate administrative tools and the software you already own and trust. They are literally turning your own infrastructure into a weapon against you, which is exactly why they're so hard to spot. 89%. This is the year-over-year increase in attacks that use artificial intelligence. Think about it. Just as your teams are using AI to personalize guest experiences and optimize logistics, these adversaries are using it to automate and accelerate every single stage of an attack, from finding a way in to stealing your valuable data.
And this last number, this one illustrates the terrifying new speed of attack, 27 seconds. That is the fastest recorded time for an adversary to move from their initial point of entry to other critical systems on the network. Your window to detect and respond to something, it's been compressed to practically nothing.
So here's the crucial point. They aren't breaking your tools, they are using your own trusted tools and identities against you. This is a fundamental shift, right? We've gone from needing to build higher walls to needing to spot an imposter who's already inside the castle, walking around like they belong there. In travel and hospitality, everything, and I mean everything, is built on trust. You trust your cloud provider, your booking software vendor, your payment processor. Well, adversaries, they understand this better than anyone, and they are now systematically turning that entire ecosystem of trust into their primary weapon.
This is exactly how a supply chain attack works. It's kind of like a trusted, long-term catering vendor unknowingly bringing a saboteur onto your flagship cruise liner. By compromising just one of your trusted partners, an adversary can gain access not just to you, but to your entire network of customers.
Let's look at a real-world example here. In this Pressure Cholima case, the attackers didn't go after a massive crypto exchange directly. That would have been too hard. Instead, they compromised a single software developer who worked for one of their trusted partners. And from there, they stole credentials, they deployed malicious code, and they redirected funds. All it took was one weak link in the supply chain.
Now, it's really important to understand that these attacks are not random acts of vandalism. Oh no, they are carefully planned, carefully executed operations orchestrated by sophisticated, named groups that have very specific economic or geopolitical goals.
As you can see on the left, this is not a localized problem. It is absolutely global. And these interactive intrusions, that just means there is a live person at a keyboard actively trying to break into your systems. This isn't just an automated virus. And on the right, you can see how the intelligence community tracks these groups. These aren't faceless hackers in hoodies. They are organized syndicates and nation-state actors with codenames like Spider and Panda.
So understanding why they do it is key to understanding your risk. You've got your e-crime groups, like the Spiders. They are all about the money. They want to disrupt your booking systems with ransomware for a quick payout. But then you have nation-state actors, like the Pandas and Bears. They're playing a much longer game.
They want to steal your customer data, your intellectual property, maybe even your strategic plans, all for geopolitical advantage.
Okay, so confronted by these incredibly fast, stealthy, and evasive threats, how do you actually protect your organization, your customers, and all of your innovation? The focus has to shift. It has to move from a simple prevention mindset to building enterprise-wide digital resilience. And that translates into some pretty clear business strategies. First, you have to make identity your new perimeter. This means treating the credentials of your employees, partners, and customers as your single most critical asset. Second, you got to eliminate those blind spots. This is all about gaining total visibility across your complex global domains, vetting your partners, and actively hunting for threats before they can execute an attack.
You know, this quote from CrowdStrike CEO just captures the new requirement perfectly. You have to build a security culture and a technology platform that can see, understand, and act with the same machine speed and intelligence as your adversaries. Your defense has to innovate just as fast as their offense. It's an arms race.
Ultimately, the core challenge is protecting that trust. Trust is the lifeblood of your entire industry. So the real question you have to ask is this: is our defense of that trust just as innovative as the services we provide? Because ensuring that magical, seamless journey you create remains secure from these invisible threats, well, that is the defining business challenge of our time.